MagniLink Tab is a Microsoft Surface Pro. It's an all-in-one unit, which is really exciting. So it's a CCTV, has text-to-speech. Of course, it's a full Windows 10 computer, so that's awesome as well. The camera, we have several cameras on it. We have a rotatable distance camera, and that camera can do document, distant, and self-viewing. And then the tab itself has 2 cameras. It's very portable and lightweight. It's only 8 pounds. That's for the separate camera, the tab, and the stand. Very easy to use, touchscreen gestures or keyboard. You can save images and video recording, and it has very fast text-to-speech. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen.
I'm Charlie Collins with LVI America, and I'm coming to you today from Cheshire, Connecticut, where it's about 53 degrees out and sunny. So that's exciting. Yeah, and as Kimberly said, thank you for making the time. I know we kind of have a little more time, at least people like Kimberly and I who are always on planes and trains and automobiles and hotels and all that, that's changed. You know, it was pretty amazing. You know, I'm looking for the bright spots in the day and what to be grateful for. And I took a walk with the dog yesterday afternoon, and I haven't heard that many kids and laughter and people outside and walking and saying hello to each other. So I know this pandemic and this virus is terrible, but yeah, people are all trying to find what is possible and where we can have some joy in the day. And so that's my little take so far. So as Kimberly said, I have on this table, I have parts of the MagniLink Tab. So the tab is right now it's folded up, but I just wanted to show you it folded up. It comes with a built-in carry, comes with built-in protection around the whole tab in case you bump it if you're carrying it around the classroom or wherever the house. And that comes with an external camera. It does not come with an XY, the little mini XY, but I put it out because it's a nice little accessory. And it also comes with a nice bag, which I'll put up in the air here. All form fitted for the camera, the cables. I have my charging cable in there, and it comes with the documentation, and it's very well protected in here, this bag. And then you have a pouch on the outside of the bag if you wanted to throw some other things in there. That's the bag. All right, so I'm going to open up the tab. And to do that, I put my thumb on the plate, and I pull on the arm, and that pulls up the first portion of it. And it has 2. And then the next one is I pull this up. Now, I don't want it that high for using it, so I can adjust it up real high. If I have a real large document I wanted to do OCR on, I could go up real high. I can bring it down depending on how short or smaller I am. You know, you can really adjust this to your needs. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the camera over. Now, I'm legally blind, so I don't see really where it goes, but I can feel it. And I will slide my finger down in there. That's how that goes in. And then I run this cable, the USB connected cable, and I run my thumb down until I feel it. And then I plug it in. What? I missed. All right, and then we have a cable stay in the back. So I run this up, and I push it in, and everything's ready to go. It's out of the way. I'm not going to see it under here. I'm going to fire it up. Oh, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to connect it to this TV behind us. Well, maybe not behind you, but it's behind me. All right. And then I'm going to turn this a bit towards me so I have more access to it. So this is how it turns on out of the box. Okay. And here's the software. Then the cameras will all start kicking in. Now this is my external camera on the side. So I'll just show you this, get it out of the way. You can see how this is a nice XY. It really fits well with this in our MLS system. So here is the external camera. The external camera, I know, I can adjust. I can rotate it all around. I can bring it all the way around this way. I can bend it and adjust it to give, if I have less room, I can then flip down the reducing ring and go distance. And then if I wanted to see out, I can magnify. And there's the out front a little bit. Yeah. And then I can bring it back down, close up the ring, get it angled, and I'm good back to reading. So that's one camera. So Kimberly, I'm going to talk about some gestures. I just wanted to set the unit up so this is how it will sit. You adjust the angles and all that to your needs. The way you want to pitch the camera, stick it in, all that, that's all. You set it up for your liking. So now I want to jump around with different cameras. So it's gestures. I take 4 fingers and I just slide them across the screen. Now there's the front-facing camera. That one, most people get a little scared because it looks right up your nose. And then the next 4 fingers is the camera underneath the tab. So this is Surface Pro. This has a forward-facing camera and it has a back camera on the back of it. So those 2 cameras we utilize. You can do all the magnifications. You can do OCR. You can do all the things you can do with the distant camera on this, on these 2 cameras. So I just go ahead and choose which camera I want. I can straighten it out. I can magnify it by just like your phone, pinching. If I wanted to change some of the contrast modes, I would take 2 fingers, bring down. Now I'm going to do it so you could see it. Now we have there, I just put in, what I'm just doing some of the functions of it. Now, I take 2 fingers and I can change. Is that upside down? No. Okay. So with 2 fingers up and down, I can go ahead. Where's my? I can then manipulate I can drag around and find, if I want to go back up, I go up, down, up, until I find what I like. Then I can drag, I tapped it to go back to color. See, that's kind of adjust, but if I wanted to change that, I could do that myself by taking 2 fingers and going left to right, up and down, changes each mode, left to right, changes the brightness. Now, say that was my desired reading mode. Then I would, and I wanted to go to color quick, I just tap color. I want to go back to my desired reading mode real quick, right back. And then here we are. So that's productivity. It's fast. I don't have to cycle through and keep going around to find the one I like. I just go tap, color, pull down, I'm back to white on black, which I prefer. And that's all I'm doing is pinching. Now I have another feature I can do here is that you can do mirror mode. So when I'm looking at myself, if I'm doing selfie on it and I want to touch this part of my face, if without mirror mode, it's going to show me touching the other. So that's a key gesture. But you can do it with a keyboard. You can do it by touching these icons that you see on the bottom. If I don't like those icons and they're in my way and I'm only going to use it with gestures, I can tap. I've removed that. Or say I'm going to use a Bluetooth keyboard that's connected, Bluetooth mouse. I can do all that too. Now I'm going to bring that back. And I'm not going to go through all of these buttons here because Kimberly will go through those. This is more to see how I'm moving around gesturing. Now I'm going to go here and I'm just going to take my 1 finger, put it on the screen, and then remove it. You'll see that spinning, that's OCRing it. There, it's done. Now you get it.
This gives optimized possibilities for reading, writing, and object viewing. Connect.
Okay, so I'm playing it from the sending it to the TV sending it to a stereo sending it to speaker, so there's a little delay. But that's not normal. It's instant coming out of the speaker on here. Now that's kind of big. Now you see I have my own print. It's Comic Sans MX. I like that. It'll always remember the size I like after I OCR. It'll remember the size I like, the font I like, the color backgrounds I like. But if I didn't like this, I could change it. I can magnify it. Something really cool. Kimberly's going to show you is how you can change it from, but this is my desired way of using it. But if you wanted a sentence, you wanted just a word, or you actually wanted to see the document and just have each of the blocks read to you while you retain the actual picture, you could do it that way too. But I prefer it this way. So this is booting up and running the way I like it. So there's something I can do. You heard how fast it was talking. So I take 3 fingers now and I pull to the right. And it's good.
200, 200, 200. Speaking speed 190.
I don't know if you can hear, I'll turn the volume up, but speaking speed is coming down each time I do it. And we're gonna go
97, 100.
there. The volume's at 100, but if it was too loud, 90, 95, 100% volume. I'm at about, I didn't hear, but let's hear.
Connect and communicate. MagniLink Tab is easily connected to your network with Wi-Fi, and you can use different accessories connected with Bluetooth, internet, and other standard.
It's slowing it down as it's reading also. So 2 of the most common things, like when I'm using this type of reading, whether it's on my computer or on a tab, is that I might want to magnify it, or I might want to just shrink the print down. I don't care. That's quick. Or I want to make it a little louder because I'm wearing headphones, I can't hear it, or I want to quiet it down, or I want to speed it up because I can retain what's in this document. I don't need to read it as slow. So these are all the gestures we give you real quick access to, so you don't have to open up. Because see, when you open these up, some of them open up submenus within them. See, and those will do even more than I can do with gestures. But the most common, and Kimberly and I learned something yesterday, that all Surf MagniLink Tab owners in a month or so will have an update to the software platform with what you've been asking for. What we have been hearing as we're out there, hey, could it do this, can it do that? We'd like to have it do this or that. And we've added that in, but it's not in this one, but it's gonna be, because it's automatically gonna connect in the internet and then update it on its own. So that's pretty cool, the way this works. I like the fact that I can change backgrounds too. For some reason, I like that blue. And then up and down. Now I wanna go back. Say I wanna just jump back because something's happening in the classroom and I wanna quickly jump on. I know this is the new normal, the new classroom, but say I wanted to, the teacher, or I'm in a business presentation, they started doing a presentation that I wanted to record. Well, I could do that by rotating the camera, fixing it on what I'm looking at, what I'd like to record. There's a corner over in the house here. That corner's dark, but there is a video light right there that's killing it a little. There's some things on the wall. So as you can see, the detail is very good on these. On this camera, it's a 1080p full high definition external camera connected through the USB 3.0 port. So what that's doing for me, it's giving me much faster response rate. I'm not using any power. This doesn't have separate power. It doesn't require, it's not Wi-Fi. It's a direct connect. I never have to charge it. It gets its power from the surface. And then I can, you know, and it tracks very well. I can move around and record that whole presentation, the audio and the video of it. I can take pictures if I like those, and I take a picture that would save it to the hard drive. And then I come back down, and here we go. So ease of use was, for me, you know, it's putting it together. I don't have to do anything. The computer boots up automatically. I mean, I know it doesn't. You press the button, it starts, but it opens our program automatically. And then I can easily put the camera in. I don't need to use it with this camera at all times. I can use it just with the cameras. Now I'm going up here. I'm going to pull 4 fingers. That's my forward camera. As Kimberly shows you, you could shut that forward-facing camera off. And then I can do OCR from here. Now I'm not doing it real neat, but just to give you an idea that I can do it from any camera on the unit.
Belgian Noigelo 9 plus or minus.
So
SP Y9 Module of 691 RMSB null 700.
That doesn't look good. Sometimes I scan Swedish. So now we have, Kimberly will talk about it, but we have gestures to turn on, like, I forget what it's called, but it kind of, if you have a lot of pitch on here, it'll kind of make it like it's flat again. It'll help. We put a little smoothing or ramp. I forget what it's called, but it actually works well because I don't want to have to get up to use this. I want to be able to bring it down a little if I'm using this camera, and I want to be able to not feel like I'm going downhill. So I'm going to show you. You see this XY, there's a Bluetooth, but here, this is something that could be, it works well. And another product that I tested and it works well is this product here. It's because these have one USB, but this is a powered USB, and this thing gives me several ports. The camera works fine. Plug in the keyboard, plug in different accessories. It's all good because this is a full running computer. It's running Windows 10 Professional. It's a Microsoft built, great hardware. This one is a Core i5 with 8 gigs of RAM. We also offer an i7 with 16 gigs of RAM. And right before, when I close it back up, I'll show you, there's a mini, what do they call it? The micro SD slot under the kickstand on here, where you can actually get one of those little cards and put up to, like, I think they're up to a not a terabyte, a gigabyte. I mean, a huge amount of storage on just those little cards. Heck, I remember when, we were using floppy drives. So it's amazing what we can do with these. So just to review, here's the thing. You don't always need to use it with this camera. I do. But if you're in a tighter spot or you just want to plop it somewhere, I take it out to the kitchen. I was playing a game with the kids. I could use it out in the kitchen. I just turn it on, flip it up. I didn't need the external camera. But what's also really good about the external camera is, say you like to use it down like this, and it's going to hit me. Oh, no, now it is. Ah. But now I can use it as a CCTV too. So I am, turn that camera on, there. Okay. So it's nice. I can use an XY over here. I can do my writing. I can watch on the over here. So, I like the idea of having that freedom of space too. As you can see, I had it plugged into the display port. There's a display port, and that's what's running on the TV. And before I unplug anything on here and go over to, switch over to the screen part of this, I wanted to know if anyone had any questions of how it sits now, how it closes, opens, the function of the camera, anything about the hardware, software, anything like that before I close it up, so I could show you the gestures. Double tap hides that. 2 changes the contrast. Pinch magnifies. 3 fingers this way and this way change the brightness and the contrast, how it looks on the screen. Back to color. So it's real easy to learn too, and that's what we're all about. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. We want to use a lot of those gestures they used on phones and voiceover and things like that too. All right, so Kimberly, can you see if any questions have popped up or anything I can answer before we shift over to the webinar?
Absolutely. So Charlie, someone made a comment when it did not do great OCR that the image before was mirrored. So it was mirrored. That's why it got the gobbledygook. So Charlie
that's why, because I had it
he had done a gesture which creates mirror mode, which is press and hold with 3 fingers. And so I just wanted to make that comment and thank you for the person for sharing that. Is there any questions you guys have of anything that Charlie has went over? Feel free to throw chat or raise your hand or anything like that. Charlie, I have a question because this gets asked of me a lot. I am a student in a school, and they school district won't let me bring in computers. They supply me my own tablet. Can I still use this software?
Yes. Yeah, so if the school district or the corporation you work for, anybody has their own account with Microsoft or a supplier of it, and they don't like buying hardware anywhere else, you can actually put your own Surface Pro into this system. We'll sell this stand, the tray to hold it, the external camera, the bag. We'll sell everything in the software. You can do your school's image, whatever the image is, and then download and install our software on it, and it works just like this. Yeah, no problem. Good question. And thank you for telling. I didn't see that I was in mirror mode. As soon as I fixed it, it's working the way it's supposed to now.
Charlie, another great question just came up. Someone asked, when you're writing underneath it, like you're signing a check or you're using it more, in that type of mode, is there a lag underneath it, or can you pretty much, if you're writing, can you see it instantly?
Well, let's just say that there's going to be, because we're on a webinar and all that good stuff, but oh, it's on this camera. No.
That's okay. I can
know.
tell you. All
So look, here's my arm. It's instant. And that's because we're hooked. There's a bit rate, or the amount of data that's getting transferred is no problem for the 3.0 type of USB. As you can see, if I was writing, it tracks my movement as I'm doing it. So it's instant. That's a good question. Thank you for asking.
That is a great question. And you guys, you can turn off autofocus as well. So if you were writing underneath it, notice that it was trying to focus as you're moving, you can turn off autofocus. But great question. Any other questions before Charlie goes on to something else? And we'll have questions again at the end. So if you think of something, feel free to save it or put it in the chat. Okay, I think we're good, Charlie, for next.
All right. Now I'm going to move on with, I'm going to pack it up, but I just wanted, if you're thinking, I could take 5 fingers, thumb, 4 fingers, press it on the screen, and now I can jump into my windows. I could jump on the internet. As I said, this camera doesn't rob my Wi-Fi, so I can now use it and jump on the internet, look something up. I can copy and paste back and forth if I had 2 apps open. And this is all I'm doing is just taking this and maximizing it. So it's just using the Windows features, so I can then move it around, and then I can move it down. I can open up for Windows. I can open another program. I can size it on. So I know most of you understand what the Surface Pro is, but once you come home and plug it in, it's like a full functioning laptop, desktop even. It can do anything. That's what's so nice. It's not a tablet, even though it is a tablet, but it's not a tablet. It is a real computer with full functionality. So I'm going to take my 5 and put them down and jump back into full screen. Now I'm going to unplug the camera. So I would unplug it. I pull down. Hey, whatever. It's all good. And then I take this out. Okay. Now before I close this up, I want to show you. You pull down on this orange tab. And here's my Surface. Kickstand is here. Underneath that kickstand is the little micro SD slot. To put this in, I find the camera. Camera always faces here. We don't want it up here because then it would be looking, not where I want it. So then I just slide this in. It's all good because it doesn't take eyesight. I just track it in and I click. Now it's good to go. It's now locked in. I can take my Surface here. I want to show you a little bit in case there's nothing dangling or hanging around. It's light enough. And I just kind of like the zip and all that. All our stuff really collapses down. The MLS, the zip, these things just fold up nice and then get thrown in a bag. I keep saying, but placed in a bag and taken on the go. Now, if I'm just moving around in the same building, I probably won't throw it in the bag. I'll just grab the handle here and take it with me. And again, see, I don't know if you can see, there's a little gap right there. And that allows me to put my thumb here because I can't really open it without doing that. And then it gives me the ability to pull it up and adjust. It's got a pretty darn good hinge in there because what we don't want is once it's set, we don't want it to slowly start falling on us, which this will not do. And then I put it in a bag and I go if I want. So that is the tab, the live portion of what we wanted to just show you some gestures and have you see it in action. And then we're going to jump over to Kimberly's going to share her screen and just jump through, down the road. I mean, this new way of connecting, it's pretty great. I mean, it's a little weird. I'm talking to a camera. There's no people in here, but that's okay. It's the new weird. But we're going to do more in-depth trainings on our products as we move through this time. And if the need's there, if you want things, put it in the chat, raise your hand, we'll ask questions, tell us if there's more trainings, other products we have that you'd like. Please let us know because we want to do that for you. Kimberly, I think it's time for you to rock and roll.
Okay, I'm going to address a couple questions quickly and then I'll share my screen. So someone asked what type of Surface it is. The Surface Pro 6.
i5, 8 gig.
Yep, exactly. And then someone asked, do you use the normal power supply that comes with the Surface to power it?
Absolutely. It uses the one that comes when you get your tab in the box is the actual Microsoft Surface Pro box too. That you went to a Microsoft store and bought it or bought it off Amazon, wherever. It's the exact same setup. That'll be in your tab box. But yes, and I love that charger because it's magnetic. So if someone walked by, it would just pop it out. It wouldn't rip the whole tab off the desk.
Excellent. Someone asked, what about if you want to plug it into a large monitor?
Which I had it plugged in.
Right.
So what I do,
I think they were just asking about kind of that process.
it's an HDMI. This is a display port. Apple has this and Windows has this. They have a different connector. So you can get these on Amazon, anywhere, but Amazon for sure. I don't remember what I paid. It wasn't much for this. And then on the other side is HDMI. So now I bring this with me everywhere I go. When I travel, I'm in a hotel room. I can plug into the nice room, the nice TV in my hotel room. But as long as I have this, because there is no HDMI plug in here, just a display port. And this product here, this one, the USB one, if anyone wants any of this information, we'll supply it. But this little guy was 18 bucks, and it works like a champ. It works really well.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'm going to share my screen. A couple questions came up about future webinars, and yes, someone wants a webinar on the Zip, and we have one coming up, so we'll be sharing that information at the end. I will just put this in out there now. If you're wanting, as Charlie said, we can give you that link for the hub that he purchased. If you're wanting hotkey guides, if you're wanting this PowerPoint, we are taping this. If you're wanting the link to the tape, please share your email address. You can do that private to myself, Kimberly Klein, or to Charlie Collins, and we will get that information out to you. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Let me get back over where I want to get here.
Now I'm going to shut my camera off so we can all focus on your presentation now.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Excellent. Everyone should be able to see my screen. All right. Well, I have the interface up that Charlie was showing on the large screen TV behind him. And we're going to talk about the buttons going from clear over to the left, all the way over to the right. There's 8 buttons. And you have,
Really?
yes.
You have the PowerPoint. That's what I can see on the screen. I can see your program with all the slides and everything, but no, I cannot see the picture of the surface.
Okay, let me, now can you?
No.
Okay, we're having technical difficulties then. Hold on one second, let me
It wouldn't
unshare.
be a webinar without them.
Let me unshare and come back in.
Okay.
Okay, so oops. So I'm going to stop the share.
Thank you. Now it's your name on the screen, so and now I can see your desktop. Oh no, that's mine.
Yeah, I'm going to share.
Okay, you're good. Now go ahead and share screen. And Kimberly, you guys, she's running the whole webinar right from her Surface.
Okay,
now I see you are now live with your desktop of your Surface.
Okay, you're not seeing MagniLink Tab? And
yes, you're now live with the Surface, yes.
Okay, so you can see the tab. Okay, perfect. Thank you. As Charlie said, yes, I'm running everything from the Surface itself, and I am using the i5 as well. Charlie mentioned we do have the i7 for people that maybe are using things like Fusion or something that requires more resources, but this is a very powerful machine, and I can do email and everything. Okay, so we're going to start clear over at the left. We have the button, the very first button. It has an A and then the arrow and then a camera. This allows you to go back and forth between OCR and camera. So of course we need to make sure that we do some OCR. So I'm right now minimizing and maximizing. I'm using my keyboard and I'm using up and down arrow. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink it down just a little bit. And then Charlie showed us earlier, you can put your finger on the screen to do OCR, but if you come over to the 5th button, it says OCR. If you just touch that and let it go, you also will start doing. MagniLink Tab, a complete solution. This tablet solution based on a Microsoft. Okay, so I have it reading. It's really fast, and we'll slow it down in just a second. I just wanted to get something OCR'd so we could actually go back and forth with that first button. The first button takes us back to live view. So we have the ability with this button to go from live view to OCR view. And if you want the keystroke to do that, and again, I have hotkey guides. The hotkey guides, we have 3 of them. One goes over all the gestures that Charlie did. The other one covers the buttons. And then we also have one that gives you keystrokes for everything, because there's 3 ways to do everything within this software. There's no right or wrong way. I have people that sometimes they use gestures, sometimes they use the on-screen keyboard here at the bottom with the buttons on the screen, and sometimes people use a keyboard. They just intermix it. So I'll make sure that I go over the actual buttons and the keyboard combination. So if you're wanting to use the keyboard to go back and forth, it's the letter V as in view. So I hit the letter V and I go back. Now I'm looking at the OCR. I hit V, I come back. Now I'm at the live view again. All right, the next button over, it has 2 cameras with an arrow in between. This is the button that allows you to go between our distance camera and the camera actually on the tablet. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that. So now I'm going to go ahead and put mine up so it's a little better of a view. Okay, so you can see my hands underneath. That's the actual tablet. So if I were to hit this again, now I'm going to go over to my distant camera that I'm moving around. Now, if I hit it again, it would come to the 3rd camera, which is the camera upward facing, but I have that turned off. Charlie mentioned, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. The reason I have it turned off is I've got the actual screen kind of up right now like a stand-up desk, and I don't want that camera looking at my nose, as Charlie mentioned. But if you have all of them on, that would circle you between the 3. Now, if I want to do that with keystrokes, it's just F7. So now I'm underneath. And now I'm at the distant camera. Okay, the 3rd button over is allows you to make it larger. And then the one next to that, the 4th button, makes it smaller. If I want to use the keyboard to do that, it's just simply down arrow and up arrow. And Charlie was doing it earlier with pinch and zoom. The fifth button over is OCR. We did that just a second ago. You also can put your finger on the screen, or the hotkey is actually F4. So if I hit F4, you also see the little dots going around.
A complete solution, this tablet solution.
And I'm going to pause it. We're going to come back to this in a second, but the 8 buttons at the bottom of the screen are a little different now because I'm actually in OCR mode. And when you're in OCR mode, you have the ability to open a file. You also have the ability to pause and play and to jump forwards and backwards between words, sentence, characters, depending on what you have it set to. I'm going to go back to live view. Everybody say it together. It's the letter V for view. Okay, now we're back at live view. The next button over to the right has a camera and a video next to it. So you have the ability, as Charlie mentioned, with any of the cameras to do OCR. You also have the ability with any of the cameras to take a picture. And then with our distance camera, of course, you can also do video. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and it brings up another menu, and there's keystrokes to do all of this that I'll cover in just a second. Of course, when you're in a classroom setting and you're going to be taking a picture of something or taking a video, you always want to get permission. But once you do have that permission, it's really nice because it's very simple to do. So if I wanted to save this picture, I just would go here on picture and click on that with my finger. It's going to bring me to the actual Microsoft Save As that you're used to. You can see that I've saved some other pictures in here before, and then you just pick Save. It automatically gives it the file name by the date, the time, and if you want to change that, of course you can, and it saves it in images. You have the ability to put it in any folder that you want. That's just the default folder. So I pick Save, and then it comes up and says that image is saved. If I wanted to do that same thing with the actual keystrokes, it's F5. So I'm going to go ahead and do F5, and within F5, I get the same Save As. I'm not going to save it again, but I wanted you to see you get the same result. The button next to that has the eyeball and the wrench, this allows you to do quite a few different things. It's really cool. So you have the ability with this to change between the colors, the high contrast colors and full color. And you also can change the contrast in here with the brightness levels. Earlier, when Charlie had it in mirror mode, I'm going to show you mirror mode. And the reason we have that mirror mode feature is when you're using the self camera to look at yourself, you want it to be in mirror mode because you want to make sure if you're putting that beauty mark on the left side, that it's really on the left side and is not on the right side. So that's how you do mirror mode when you're using the actual menu system to do it. Again, when Charlie was doing it before, it was touching the keyboard with gestures, or excuse me, the screen with gestures. All of these features within here you can do with keystrokes. So I'm going to go out of the menu for a second, and I'm going to take you between the different colors using keystrokes. So I'm going to go F1. That takes me back to full color. I'm going to bring it to color so you can see that there's actually color here at the top. Let me go one more to full color. There we go. Now you can tell that there's an orange banner at the top. So F1 is a toggle key, and it toggles you back and forth between grayscale and full color. So if I hit it again, now I'm in grayscale. I hit it again, I'm back in full color. F2 will take you with your contrast color. So now I've got that bright yellow with the black text. And if I didn't like that color, I could change it to another color just by hitting F2 again. So now we've got the green. You can go through all the different color choices. However, the cool thing about it, I'm going to leave it here with the bright white background and the black text because that's a pretty common color combination that people like. And now I'm going to go over to F3, and now I've got the reverse of that. I have the black background with the white. Now, if I pause here for just a second and I say, oh, I want to go back and I want it to be the opposite of that, I just hit F2. And then if I want to go back to full color, I just hit F1. So it's really cool because if you're looking at a document that has a picture, and when you're looking at the picture, you want full color, you just simply hit F1, but then maybe you're looking at the text and you want a certain color combination, you can either go with the F2 or F3. So once you pause on them, it remembers where you stopped and it saves those. But I'm going to show you in a minute how to go in and take out all the colors that you don't want as well. So I could have done that with that 7th button over, which we did show you a minute ago, but I think it really is nice to be able to do it with the keyboard. And you also can change, let's say this is perfect right now, but let's say you needed to make it darker or lighter. I'm using the left and right arrow keys on the keyboard. which I'm popping the menu up again. You would use the brighter sun, of course, for brightness, and then the less for less. So I did the same thing up here. That top button was F1, and then the second button is F2 and F3, and then the brightness controls are with the arrow keys, the left and right arrow keys. Now we're going to go into the actual menu, which is the gear. It's the very last button over. And this is where you can change things within the software. So what's up right now is application. So this has all your color combinations. So you could take out, let's say you don't like green on black or black on green at all. That's the third one over. I just hit X and I just took it out. Maybe I don't like black on red and red on black. Now I took that one out. Now I'm looking at yellow on blue and blue on yellow. Maybe I don't want the positive, but I do like the negative. So you can just uncheck what one you do or don't want very, very simply. And it's really nice because you can then say, okay, perfect, I save it out. I want to add these back. Just by hitting the add button, you see that they simply come back really, really quickly. And if you've taken a lot of things out, you can just hit default and everything will go back how it was before. In here, Charlie was talking about this earlier, you have this angle correction. This is for when, if you're using the camera on the tablet itself, and if you have it kind of down at an angle, and you don't want that look of that far, far away look of Star Wars, if you use the angle correction, even though the camera is angled, it will auto-correct it and make a big difference. This is where you turn on the front camera or turn it off because I don't want it on. I'm going to go from application to speech. Within the speech settings, you can change the different voices. So right now we have it set for Microsoft Mark, but let's say I wanted to go to David. And let's say I wanted to make the speaking speed a little slower. I can just slide this. And all this can be done with keystrokes as well, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. You also have the ability to start the OCR after, start speech after the OCR. That's a checkbox. You can either check it or not. And then you could have all the commands read to you as well. You can change the fonts. So if you don't like Arial after it does OCR, maybe you prefer Calibri or a different font style, you can scroll through here and pick the font that you would like. This is one of my favorite features of the bottom two here, because sometimes I'm out and I'm doing a presentation and I just kind of forget. I forget what a keystroke is. So all the shortcut keys are built into the software. You have the ability to come in and pull them up at any time. So now we have increased magnification, which is up arrow, decreased magnification, down arrow. I mentioned to switch between cameras, it's F7, but they're all listed here for OCR and using the actual software itself. You also can hit default if something gets turned off or you start editing and making changes in here. And now I'm going to go down to gestures. Every single gesture that Charlie showed you earlier is right here. And if you do have someone that's using the actual tablet and maybe they constantly are accidentally turning autofocus off or something like that because they're holding down with 3 fingers, you can uncheck any of the gestures that you don't want to leave on. That's not a problem. You can do that at any time. So that's really, really nice to be able to do that. All right, I'm going to go back into OCR mode for just a minute because I want to show you all the menu choices there as well. And I would say if I could unmute you all, how do I do that? And I hope everybody said V for view or hit the first button. And when you do that, we're back to OCR. Now, all the things I just taught you over in live view, a lot of them apply here. So let's say you didn't like this color combination. I'm going to hit F2 and now I have a different color. I'm going to hit F3 and I have a different color. So you have the ability at any time to change the color combination that you want, which is really, really nice. You also have the ability with up and down arrow to make it larger and smaller. So that's what's really cool as well. And those of you that attended our MLS webinar that we did the other day, you might start noticing a lot of the keystrokes are exactly the same. And that's on purpose. We write our own software and we use the same premise between all of our platforms to keep, as Charlie said, we want everything to be very simple, ease of use, and very productive. We want you to be able to be up and running quite quickly. So let's talk about the buttons at the bottom, and then I'm going to open it up for questions. And as Charlie said, we could spend a lot more time and go into some in-depth training. And if you guys have a group of people you'd like to get together and say, You know, we'd like to practice saving with videos and opening things and, you know, productivity tools and things. We'd be glad to meet with you and put a webinar together for that. So the first button would take you back and forth between live mode and OCR mode, or the letter V. This would allow you to actually save or open a document right here. So if you already had scanned something in with another software, you could use, still open it in our software and have it read. Or if you wanted to save this, you have the ability to do that as well. The next button over allows you to pause and play.
Based on a Microsoft Pro with 12.3 screen gives the user a COR.
Now, you can use these buttons, but I love number 1 because it's really quick. So if I hit 1 on the keyboard,
CORR mobile
it does the same thing.
Solution.
Pause.
The unit is perfect.
And then play. All right. In here, there's a wrench in the letter A. I can pull that up. And this allows you to change the font size, and it also allows you to change the word mode, what you're seeing, what presentation style that you're seeing. Like right now I'm on one word. Now I can actually see more of the text. Now I can see a line underneath. I'm going to show you how you do this with keystrokes because it's really cool with keystrokes as well. One of the things I want to show you is I have the document up on the screen right now, and if I touch anywhere on the screen,
mobile solution. The unit is,
it will start reading right from wherever I touch, which is really cool. So if I want to change how I'm viewing this right now, on the keyboard, I would hit the letter B as in boy. So now I'm looking at actually the OCR image, not the live image, but the text after it's been OCR'd. Now I'm looking at the line of text with a highlight. And again, I can do up arrow and down arrow to make it smaller or larger. Now I'm looking at one word.
perfect for ARM task.
Some people, one word is all they want to see at a time, and that works out perfect for them. Now, this is probably my favorite view. I can see the text up above, but I just have a little portion down below where it's reading, and I can see both at the same time. So now I'm going to show you something where you can actually go and change when you're going forwards and backwards. Are you jumping a word at a time? Are you jumping a character at a time? I'm hitting number 5 on the keyboard.
Block.
So right now it's looking at a block of text. A block would be where you see the highlighted text.
Spell.
So now I'm on spell, and now I'm going to hit 3 and 4. 3 is going to take me forwards.
M. R. A.
And I'm listening to one letter at a time.
R.
And I'm going to go backwards, I'm hitting 4 now.
A. R.
Now I'm going to hit 5 and show you can jump word to word, of course, as well.
Word by word.
And I'm going to do 3 and 4 again.
A. 4. Perfect is perfect.
And you can see up above that it's actually tracking and following the word that it actually has in large print below.
4.
You can also speed it up and slow it down while it's reading. Charlie showed you that with gestures, but you can do the same thing with keystrokes, which is really, really cool. So let's say it's reading. I'm going to start it reading again, and I'm going to increase it with number 7 on the keyboard and then reduce it with number 6. So 1's going to start it.
For ARM task.
Now I'm going to make it faster.
As for long-term reading. Use video magnifier with built-in OCR or as a computer with access to
That's a little too fast. I'm going to slow it down with number 6.
79.
That's a little too slow. So you just listen and find which one that you want. We're going to bring it back up to 100.
129.
Okay, I went a little faster than that, but you kind of see how 6 and 7 will speed it up and slow it down, and 1 will stop it.
GIVK possibilities.
So 1 is start and stop. You can also change the volume with keystrokes as well. Reducing the volume is 8 and 9, so I'm going to start it reading.
Possibilities. 20.
So I made it really soft with 8. I'm going to come back with 9.
80.
So now it's pretty loud.
Possibilities.
Okay, that kind of gives you an overview. You can, of course, come in and do a few other things in here. You can change the brightness with left and right arrow. You can change the coloring here. I did that with the keystrokes with F1, F2, F3, and then the brightness again, if you're wanting to use that, is the left and the right arrow. So I can make it really dark or I can brighten it up. This is an overview. There are other things you can do. And again, we have the hotkey guides. So if you guys want to receive the hotkey guides, the PowerPoint, any of our schedules,